Hi everybody. This Saturday, March the 1st, it's time for the first semi-classic of the season, the Omloop Het Nieuwsblad. The course runs over 208 km and includes some well-known features such as the Wolvenberg and the Berendries, and most importantly, the combination of the Kapelmuur and the Bosberg duo in the finale of the race. As you can see from this overview of the winners of the latest 10 editions, it's a course for the real Flandrians. Note that over these 10 editions, only Van Avermaet managed to win the race twice. He did so back-to-back in 2016 and 2017. Another interesting observation is that the final 3 editions were won by Visma bike rider Van Aert in 22, Van Baarle in 23 and Tratnik on last year's edition. And in terms of nationalities, it's the Belgians who prevailed, taking 4 out of the final 10 victories. Usually the race is selective. Over the last 10 years it was either won solo or in a sprint of 2 or 3 riders. Only the Ballerini year, 2021, saw a sprint of a large group. Then here's an overview of some of the riders lining up with previous experience in this race, including 5 former winners. Valgren, who won back in 2018, Stuyven in 2020, Ballerini in 21, Van Aert in 2022, and last year's winner Jan Tratnik. And some additional riders with an above average number of top 10 finishes compared to their number of race starts. Drawing my particular attention are Nase, Trentin, De Lee and Pidcock. Here's the betting odds at the time of recording, with Wout van Aert as the main favorite, followed by De Lee and Morgado. And then here's the riders from the partially confirmed start list to watch in my book. Lampaert at Soudal Quickstep hasn't been able to make a dent here since 2019 and 2020, where he rode into the top 10, so I'm going with youngster Magnier instead. At Ineos, I'll be watching Tarling and Ben Turner, even though it must be said he never did better than P58 on his earlier 3 participations. Team UAE has a lot of firepower here. Pollitt, Morgado, Narvaez, Vermeers and Wellens are all riders who could do well here. Pollitt was 7th here in 23 and runner-up on last year's edition. Welles was 3rd here in 2019 and 12th on last year's edition. He came into this year strong, riding into 5th on the Ruta del Sol, something which can also be said of Narvaez, who's won the Tour Down Under earlier this year. In het Nieuwsblad, he's never done better than P34 though. Then again, I find it hard not to call him. 21-year-old Morgada also can't be ignored, 5th in last year's Ronde van Vlaanderen, and he has started the season firing on all pistons. At Visma Leasebike, even though he doesn't seem too impressed with his own form at the moment, Van Aert is the man to watch, winner here in 22 and 3rd on last year's edition. Besides Van Aert, I'm going to go with Jorgensen. We have not yet seen him in action this season, yet usually he comes into the season swinging. Mohoric at Bahrain victorious, always revolving around P20 on his earlier 3 participations, yet something tells me he can do better than that. And he started his season strongly, ending in P2 behind Mats Pedersen in the Tour de la Provence. Pascalon, 8th here in 22 and 23, should be considered an outsider. At the F, Asgreen never did well here in the past. Valgren, a former winner here, also hasn't looked impressive so far, so I guess it's Mikkels and Marijn van den Berg I'll be watching. The Red Bull roster isn't final yet, but we're having the defending champion Tratnik at the start for sure. In a way, also Mees and Lascano are names you'd expect here, yet they've never done well in the past. Garcia Cortina is the one to watch at Movistar, 11th here in 21 and 15th on last year's edition, are his best results out of 7 participations. Kung at Groupama, besides him, Genietz is also rumored to line up and certainly a man to watch when he does. Ballerini and Mike Teunissen at the F. Ballerini lined up twice here, winning the race in 21 and 16-23, and Mike Teunissen is a rider who's always flirting with the top 10 here. Then I'll be watching Jake Stewart at Israel Premier Tech and Stuyven at Little Trek. He's a master at this race, 9 starts and 6 top 10s, out of which 1 win, and there's a bunch of strong riders to back him, including Skuns and Vacek. Watch for Abrahamsen at Juno X and Jente Biermans at Arkea, as well as Dylan Teuns at Cofidis, 5th here in 2019. Then we get back to some proper top 10 material, featuring Arnaud de Lee at Lotto, who was the fastest of the chasing group in 2023, 20 seconds after winner Van Baarle. Also last year he rode into the top 10. Matteo Trentin at Tudor, few riders are as consistent as him. He did not finish on his first 2 participations, yet he rode into the top 10 on 6 of his other 10 participations. At Alpecin, Philipsen is not yet featuring on this start list, yet their sources confirming he'll line up. Always a man to consider, yet he's never done better than P33 here, out of 4 starts. With Germay seemingly not starting, Rex is the man to watch at Intermarché, 6th here on last year's edition, and Nasen at AG2R 5 times in the top 10 here and 4th in last year's edition. And finally, we get Tom Pidcock at Q36.5, who's having a stellar season so far, arguably the best Pidcock we've seen so far, winning the Alula Tour and 3rd in Andalusia, and on his former participations in Omloop, he came home in 5th and 8th. In terms of stars, I'm going to curse in the church by not putting Van Aert on the top spot, yet labeling De Lee and Morgado my 4-star favorites for this race. Van Aert, Narvaez and Pidcock each get 3 stars, Ballerini, Tratnik and Jorgensen get 2 stars, and Stuyven and Trentin each get 1 star. In terms of podium prediction for the 2025 Omloop Het Nieuwsblad, I'm going with a win by De Lee ahead of Morgado and Van Aert. Thanks for watching, enjoy the race, and see you next week for my Strade Bianchi preview.